All right, everyone, this is Yelena, and this is our second Cognos analytics session. The session is being recorded, so it's a lot of information, and trust me, you will need to watch the recording more than once, or at least portions of the recording more than once. All right, so here is tonight's agenda. We're gonna talk about the decision tree models again. We'll talk about the dashboards and infographics, including how to add visualizations, widgets, relationships among visualizations, and more. We'll talk about stories, and of course, your questions and answers, right? So before that, I have to remind you that please do not attempt to change your Cognos Analytics password. The reason everyone's password is the same is that in case you need help, right? And if it's an issue that I cannot reproduce on my account and Oscar cannot reproduce on his account, then if we need to log into your account for troubleshooting purposes, we need to be able to do that, right? So please do not attempt to change your password. Another reason is if you lost your password, there is no way to restore. So I'm not sure how to do it. I have not been able to find it. So please, just keep the password as is. Save, please save all your work right before you log out. Because if you forgot to save something, it might get lost. There is no guarantee, all right? So please save all your changes. Uh, you want to log out to exit the application. Do not exit just by closing the browser tab, right? Uh, Please use the Salesforce forms that you have in the classroom. Please do not call UMGC help desk. They won't be able to help you. Do not use the chatbot to submit tickets. Just use the Salesforce form in the classroom. That goes straight in the right queue and you'll get assistance faster. If you call UMGC help desk instead, then it might take about 2 business days for them to transfer the case to correct people, okay? So please use the Salesforce in the classroom and enter correct case type and correct information. Here, this is something to keep in mind that, well, things happen. Sometimes people get an incomplete or they get extensions to do more, to have more time for assignment. But, well, in general, I'm required to purge Cognos Analytics account when the class ends. But if you do have an extension that requires longer access, your instructor needs to inform me. I understand that grades are confidential. However, here when it comes to access, as an admin, I'm supposed to purge the account when the semester ends, a little bit after semester ends. But if you need extended access, your instructor needs to email me, okay? I'm going to send a reminder to instructors also on my end, all right? So we'll try to make it as smooth as possible. Then please also pay attention to the emails and the course announcement related to Cognos. This is just a reminder. But yes, please be aware that when semester ends, your accounts will be purged. It's just the university protocol. But if you do need more access, then your instructor needs to let me know. It's very simple. And I have it documented, no issues, okay? Now, as you may recall, we worked with claims and weather data last session, and also the videos that you have are on claims and weather data. The data stores the customer information, including the demographics, right? Customer insurance coverage, and also the vehicle that the customer drives, the accident information. And we use that information to estimate the total claim amount. So as you may recall, if you go to Cognos, right? So here was our this is our the bullseye diagram, if you will, for claims and weather data. The target is what we're trying to predict. We're trying to predict the total claim amount, right? And you see that here, every pin here represents a driver, right? What's a driver? It's a column or a set of columns that could predict our target, which is total claim amount. And we have one driver, two driver, and a combination. Do you remember we talked about this? So if it's a one driver, right? The one driver with the highest predictive strength is going to be the column that is used first as a force split when you create the decision tree. Remember, last time we left off at decision tree, and I'm continuing. I'm starting from decision tree. So first, you're going to look at one drivers, and you want to identify the drivers with the highest predictive strength, because it's going to tell us a lot how your tree is constructed, right? Then you probably want to take a look at the scissors. If you hover, it gives you the predictive strength, right? 38% in this case. The drivers with predictive strength under 10% are omitted, so it's above 10%. And we know location code, right? Why is it important? Again, because it's going to be a column. It's a first column that will be used for the split of the decision tree. Right, so how do we, let's go back to the tree that we constructed last time, right? So that's a total claim amount decision tree. And most of what I'm doing right now, it's going to be a review. So I close the details and I close this tab. This is a data exploration, remember? So now I think I'm gonna go to the, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna choose the full screen, because that way it's gonna be easier to read the rules, okay? So remember, decision tree, this is the topic for you this week, right? So what is this? How is it? So basically the whole idea is to build a model. Suppose that I have a brand new claim and I know the location and I know the vehicle class. I have the information about my claim, right? And I have a customer information. And the goal is, how would I use the model to estimate the total claim amount for new claim, right? So we have to build some kind of, we use the existing data that we have to build a model. That's a decision tree, and the tree can be expanded and collapsed. Remember that the tree consists of nodes. A node is just a group of statistically the same data, right? So let's just collapse it. See that the node that is on the left-hand side, it represents the total data. If you hover over the node, it's going to tell you the average total claim amount, right? And it's also going to tell you that it corresponds to all data, which is 9,136 records. The total number of records in the data. But this was after, as you may recall, we did some pre-processing on the data. We filtered out the rows that missing values, right? We filtered out some rows of missing effective to date values. So in at the moment, see, we're using the pre-processed data module to build this decision tree, right? And this is the number of records, 100% all records here. This is under 10,000, okay? What happens if you have more than 10,000 records? Well, it's gonna take a sample. In this case, it's less than 10,000. So here, this is showing the average, total claim amount, overall average. Then, well, are we done? No. The algorithm believes that we can do better rather than just looking at the old data. Remember, the driver with the highest predictive strength was what? Location, right? So we ask a question, what is the value of our location? Is it rural, is it urban, or is it suburban? And we take the path based on a value. If it's rural, then I guess we're done. We just take this path here, location code rural, and this is the average total claim amount. We just got it. So the algorithm believes there is no other variable, no other column here that could improve the results, right? So that's it. If it's rural, we just know the average claim amount. And notice that the nodes have a color, they're colored, rather different shade of the same color. In this case, the lighter color represents lower average claim amount. Darker means higher average total claim amount, right? So, but then notice that there's like an underline here for the urban and for suburban. It means that the node is expandable. If I expand this, all right, So basically here, if the location is urban and the vehicle class is a 2-door or 4-door car, we take this top pass, right? I highlighted, that's it. It does not expand further, so this is a rule. The rule is if location is urban and the vehicle class is a 2-door or 4-door car, then here is your total average total claim amount, right? That's what it is. And you also see the percentage of data to which the rule applies, right? But to see the percentage of data, you have to hover over the node, right? This is 13%. But as you may have noticed, most of the data is for the suburban cars. So if I click on the suburban, I further go to vehicle class, and notice all of these are expandable, so I can go to the 2-door, right? Then I'm looking at coverage type. See that if it's a location is suburban, vehicle class is a 2-door, we can improve the performance more. We can get more information if we split further by coverage. And if coverage is a basic, then we go again, we look at the marital status, right? And then you can see that there is no more, it does not split anymore. You highlight this, you double click on this leaf node and it's gonna highlight the path from the root node to the leaf node. And this is your rule, see this? So you're gonna say this, if the location is suburban, if it's a 2-door or 4-door car, coverage is basic and in the marital status is married or divorced, then the expected total claim amount is the average, right? $347. And you get the percentage of data to which this applies, right? Okay, but then another thing to remember is that if the rule is not frequent, it does not mean that it's not important. Like see, like luxury cars, there are not too many luxury car samples in this data. However, you still don't want to overlook, right? You still want to look at those rules. I know it's only 3% of data, but well, in general, if you were going to do the future study, you would probably want to gather more data on the luxury cars. But based on what you have here, you just you can see that they have the highest average total claim amount, which is of course is expected, right? More expensive car, all right? But see, this visualization shows you the rules. There is an alternative visualization that's called the sunburst. The sunburst tells you the percentage of rules, the percentage of data to which the rule applies. And something similar, see that there is no bold line here, it means that you can't expand further, right? So here, this circle here stands for location code, and you see that about 2/3 of claims are for the suburban location. Then you've got the urban. So if I click on the suburban here, it's going to open up the next layer. It's a vehicle type, right? So you see the vehicle type breakdown within suburban. And of course, you can see that most of the claims are for the suburban location, 2 or 4-door car. See that? So you can, and see also the shade of this arc is the average total claim amount. It's about similar, same information, but it's represented differently. You cannot just traverse from you cannot traverse the tree from left to right here. On this diagram, you read it from the inside out, and mainly again it shows the percentage of data to which the rule applies, rather than the visualization of a rule. That's what it is. But basically, well, you just get an idea, right? So you have tree diagram, you have a sunburst, and you also have the rules in English language. You can call it this way, right? So you can sort this. See that's a rule. If location code is rural, that's an average total claim amount. But it does not necessarily mean that if you got into an accident in rural location code, that's going to be your total claim amount. It does not necessarily mean, see, so there is a prediction error. Maybe I will have a $300 claim, see, maybe. So it's not going to be accurate at all times. It estimates, but it's going to have the prediction error, of course. So, like, for instance, my location code is urban and I'm driving a two-door or four-door car. Does it necessarily mean that my estimated claim amount is going to be 280? No. But, well, according to that model, it just an estimated average total claim. This is estimated average total claim amount if your location code is urban and this is the vehicle class that you're driving, right? The algorithm will try to create a model as accurate as possible. It's looking at something called information gain. So the tree has a limit. 36 nodes is a limit. It's going to stop once it reaches 36. And also when it's splitting, it's not less than 25 records per node. So it will stop splitting. It cannot have less than 25 records per node. All right? And it's going to analyze, it's going to attempt to look at the combination of the drivers to attempt to have the most accurate result. Of course, it's not going to be accurate at all times. Maybe there are going to be something maybe I'm going to have an accident in a rural location, and maybe my car is going to be luxury in rural location. It's going to be $1,000, of course. Then, it's possible. Okay, so there still could be the prediction error. It's not going to be 100% accurate. It cannot be, but just understand the model, understand how to discuss some of the rules, right? When you do your assignment, you want to focus on some of the rules and discuss it, not just say, hey, instructors, this is my decision tree visualization. You see what I'm saying? You want to interpret some of the rules. Perhaps look at which rules affect most of the data, which rules affect least of the data. What interesting did you find? What interesting does the tree reveal, right? Something like that. But here, see this, in this case, I showed you the tree for the numeric column, right? We are predicting the total claim amount is numeric here. But just know that this tree model is not limited to the numeric columns. We can also use it to predict the categorical columns. It might not be the best example, but in this data, we have a column called employment status. Let's suppose that I want to build a tree for the employment status, right? So what's different in here is that if I look at the tree here, employment status here is a label. It's disabled, or it's employed, or it's a medical leave, or retired, or unemployed. So instead of predicting the actual, predicting the value here, right, we're looking at the label value. It's not a numerical value, it's a label here, right? So you're gonna have, you see different color code for a different label here. She's a disabled, one color, employee, different color. But the idea is the same. The tree consists of nodes, and the nodes can be expanded and collapsed. You're going to traverse the tree from left to the right. And here, the dominant color in the terminal node is going to be the predicted class. So see, like, for example, this is a terminal node. The dominant color is maroon, right? So this is retired, right? I highlight this rule, and it's going to be, you're going to read it like this. If income is under is 25,000, marital status is married or divorced, then here response yes, right? And then you look at the effective due dates, coverage effective due dates, right? If it falls into this list, then it's retired. It's similar, right? So I'm gonna collapse this. Similar approach. You're gonna look at this. So this is the whole data, right? This represents all data. If I hover, instead of average total claim amount, what I see is that I see different categories and the percentage of data under each category and the total. See, this represents all data here, right? So I have disabled people, I have employed, medical leave, etc. Well, you might want to also note that you only have 3% of retired data. Most of your data is employed, right? You just want to make a note for yourself. But most of your data is employed. But you also probably want to look at the spiral diagram to see which columns, which one-way driver are the strongest predictors, right? Have strongest predictive strengths. In this case, it's an income. So it's looking at the income and it's going to say, of course, if income is above 44K, the person is employed. Well, that's understandable, right? Then here we're looking at the other range between 25 and 44. Well, yes, I understand that most of them are employed. Well, it stays as this, it doesn't expand further. Now we have to deal with under 25K. Those people can be employed, unemployed, or they can be on medical leave, or they can be retired, right? So the algorithm believes that we can do better than this, right? It's not necessarily unemployed. I know that unemployed seems to be dominant here, but we cannot tell. We need to look at marital status here. It's looking at the marital status, right? Well, if marital status is single, again, we are here, right? It's still dominant. But, well, we can do better than this. Let's look again at the next one. Next one, it's looking at the response. If it's a no, we are done. But if the response is a yes, we can expand further. Okay, looking at the effective to date. Then it's looking again, right? It's looking again at the sales channel. And do you see that if the sales channel is agent or branch, then the dominant is retired, see? So then if I highlight this rule, I'm gonna say this. If income is under 25K, and if marital status is single, if the response is yes, and if effective 2 days falls under this list, and the sales channel is agent or branch, then it's a retired. See that? So the algorithm believes that we can do better than that. See? Now, if you look at, you can see how much data falls into it, right? Total 42 records. That's it. Well, it will, sometimes it will try to split further, but then it will merge because you cannot have less than 25 records. So of course, this one is done. Now we look at the one above. See here, this one, the dominant color is medical leave. So it's a medical leave. If the channel is web or call center, right, then it's medical leave. The rule is almost same as what we had, except for different sales channels. See this? I can click here and it will highlight the rule, and I read my rule from left to right. So just remember that here different color because we are predicting the categorical. See, like back over here, it looks like it's a single, but no, we could do better. We used other drivers to keep splitting, and we kept going, and it's not necessarily unemployed, as you saw, right? You have see here, you have the medical leave and you have the retired. See? So you kept going, you kept improving the accuracy. And same thing here, you would keep going until you hit the end. Well, that one is a little bit, yes, it's mostly unemployed here. Okay, but does it guarantee that if my income is above 44K, is it guaranteed that I'm employed? Well, usually yes, but maybe if I'm getting the disability that this is high, or maybe I did something unusual and maybe my retirement is this high, who knows, right? Well, but in most of the cases, this is correct, right? But what I'm trying to say, it's there is no guarantee that it's gonna be the prediction will always be correct, right? There is some classification error. Okay. Oh, see, this one is not predicting well. See. Anyway, this is not the best example because usually you would not predict the employment status from the total claim amount. But the reason I picked it is just to show you how the tree works for the categorical targets, because you have some options in a assignment, some datasets options have a categorical column. So I don't want you to feel scared because it's not numerical that what you saw. You need to see this example also, okay? So, and also you got the sunburst, similar concept. It shows the percentage of data to which the rule applies, right? See this, you keep, this is a similar concept when you read it from inside out. And you also have the rules written in English language, okay? So just keep that in mind. So now I have to exit the full screen. All right. Because I'll show you what you will be doing. I'm gonna save this. So for you, you're gonna go to the in your team content. You have the data for assignments. You're gonna go this week. You're gonna go to here, unit 6 through 8, and you're gonna look at the data sets that we have here. You're going to pick one data set, and you're going to work with the data set for the remaining course assignments, right? So decision trees, then you're gonna be doing the dashboard, and then you're gonna be doing the stories, okay? So next to assignments are continuations of this assignment. You're gonna pick the data and you're gonna use that same data. Like if you want to challenge yourself, life expectancy data has some missing values. So here, basically, what you're predicting the life expectancy, right? Or if you choose cars data, that one you have several choices here. Just keep in mind with car data, you can predict the car efficiency, right, such as miles per gallon, or you can predict the car horsepower. So here, your choice, right? So basically, look through this and pick the data that is interesting to you, something maybe your area of interest, something you might be familiar, something like that, all right? So pick one and stay with the one. And to use the data, you need to copy the data where? In the my content. I'm just showing you what's available in the team content. You're going to copy data to my content. Nobody will be able to click here and create the exploration or dashboard from here. Okay? You will have to make a copy. If you may have attempted this course earlier when we were in a different server, people try to create the visualizations straight from data in the team content. It stopped because it crashed the server. So no, you have to make a copy of the file to my content and work from my content, because working with data in a team content crashes the server. So that's the reason you don't have the option. You have to copy. Okay? So everything will be in my content. You'll copy the data that you like to work with, right? And you're gonna work it from my content. Another thing is that I said when you exit, you need to close everything that you have open. How do I know that I have something open? See this? It says here one item open. This, right? And then before I close it, I would have to make sure, I would have to check if there is an asterisk next to the file name. If there was an asterisk, it means that I didn't save the changes. I would have to go back here and I would have to save my changes, right? Okay, so we're going back to the slides. I wrote a lot of what I talked about today. I spelled it out for you. So those are the notes and you're gonna have a copy of these notes, okay? One thing is that I did not put any slides on the categorical column, on categorical targets. but you got this for the numeric. You have detailed description. Oh, and another thing is that there is something called edit scope. Well, if this is not the case for your data, but if your data had more than 250 columns, the algorithm will choose the subset of those columns, right? So what you could do is, so those are the fields of the data, all right? You go fields, see these fields for the visualization. Here is a target, the columns that I used to predict, right? What you could do is you can click on edit scope and you can exclude the columns that you don't want to use in analysis. Or if there were more columns here that are not selected, you could select them, okay? Just know that. All right, so there were some excellent questions that came up over the last few weeks. So if your data has more than 10,000 records, it's going to take a random sample of 10,000. So sometimes when you go and open your explorations, you might see slightly different values. Like if you look at the drivers here, all right, or if you look at the driver's predictive strengths, you might have slightly different numbers here. If your data has more, if you have more than 1,000 records in your data, right, which was the case for Nashville housing data, it had more than 10,000. So it was pulling the sample of 10,000. So that's why sometimes you may see a slightly different numbers because of different data sample. Okay, so just remember that one. Okay, so this was data exploration. The main is the data exploration is used to just get insights from your data, but that's not something that you're going to present to your manager, right? It's not a dashboard. It's not in presentable format. So that's going to lead us to the next topic, dashboards. We create dashboards to present our findings about the data. And also, if you look at it here, there is no way for me to select one data point and one visualization to have all of this, to have the same data points selected in all visualizations. There is no way to apply the filter to all visualizations here. There is no way to change colors. There is no way to change the appearance of this, right? I'm stuck with purple color, but what if I want to have a green color, something like that? It's not possible in here in exploration. You cannot add widgets, you cannot annotate things, right? You cannot control the layouts. You will have to create the dashboard to do that, right? But the other thing is that when you already did a lot of work, right? You will have done a lot of work in this week assignment that you want to reuse when you create your dashboard. So in order to reuse some of the visualizations, you need to add them, you need to pin them. Before we go into the dashboard, we're gonna pin some visualizations that we want to reuse, right? So what is a pin? Pin is a visualization, set of visualizations set aside. So here I have customer for state hierarchy. Suppose that's a visualization that I want to reuse in my dashboard and I'm lazy. I don't want to recreate it again. All right. Well, not that I'm lazy, but suppose that I created multiple dashboards and each dashboard has this visualization. I created it once, and what I can do is I can click on this pin here, and it will set aside this visualization for me. So when I click on the pin, see, those are the two visualizations that I set aside. I have this cross tab that I set aside when I did this session in September, and I set aside this visualization now. What you could do, those are the pins you can, if you suppose that you have 500 visualizations here, right? And you're trying to find which visualization did I put today. See this? I can filter it. I can filter my pins. The pins that I did within the past months, what I did earlier. See that one, the one that I did in September, right? Or I can see all of them. You can also search for your pins, right? Like for example, I type customer, see it's gonna search this. You can search for pins, see? If you have a long list, because you will have, if you keep working on assignment, you may have maybe 100 or 50. See, sometimes you create more visualizations and then you choose what you want to include in your dashboard, right? As you're learning about the data, you create more, and then you decide what fits better in the dashboard, right? So I pinned the visualization, so it's gonna be easy to add to my dashboard when I start working on dashboard, and then I'm gonna close this one. So we start working on dashboard. So the dashboard is basically you are presenting visualization. You're changing the appearance properties. You may change the theme. You may add images. Well, you cannot copy and paste the images, but to add an image, you would add just a link to the image, okay? All right. Yes, you can add, yes, that's right. You can add, change the title of visualization, but only when we do the dashboard and the story, correct? You will be able to change titles of the visualizations, but in the dashboard. That's what we are getting into right now, in the dashboard topic, right? So, and you may reuse the visualization flow from exploration workspace. You may toggle between the dashboard has a view mode and the edit mode, and I'll show you what that is. And you may undo, redo the latest changes up until you close the file. Okay, so let's start with the dashboard. There are multiple ways to create a dashboard. Okay, you can go here, you can just go and like from this menu here, you can go say, I want new, and you can select dashboard. If you do it this way, you will have to physically specify which data you use as a source. You will have to find the correct data. But this is not the way I do it. The way I do it is that, okay, well, I know this is my claims and weather data module. I know that this is the data that I want to use, and I'll just click on this menu here and I select create dashboard from this menu. Okay, this is the way I do it, but it's up to you. Yes, yes, this presentation will be available for you afterwards, okay? You're gonna get the slides, of course, yes. So what I'll do is I'm going to send the link to the professor and I'm gonna send the slide deck to professor too, okay? So no worries, you're gonna get everything, all right? So see this, I know that I want to create my dashboard from this claims and weather data module. I just click on this menu and I just go here, create dashboard. I like to do it this way. There are multiple ways to do it, but yeah. Oh, slides from the first session, I sent them to the faculty. I'm not sure if, I don't have access to post in the classroom, but I did send the slides. Oh, sorry. Then you can email me and I'll send it to you. Okay, because I did send, so maybe check, maybe it's an attachment. Check the, please check the, I'm not, I have to check how the attachments work in the announcement because it should be there as an attachment. Please double check, okay? And if not, you can email me and I'll be more than happy to send you the copy, okay? All right, so there are two types of dashboard here, tabbed and infographic. Infographic is a long page, right? Long page consists of multiple panels here. Tab dashboard, as the name says, it's going to be split. It's going to have, you can have one or more tabs. In this class, we're going to use tabbed. Okay, we're going to use tab. Okay, yeah, it should be the slide should be an announcement. I think so. Well, I need to check because I need to check out. Okay, but I believe, yeah, I believe both instructors they posted, all instructors they posted the slides as an attachment and then and also the link. Okay, so infographic is a long page, but we're gonna be using tab dashboard because it's easier to cheat. Well, what I mean by cheat is that you're gonna do a great job for assignment 7, right? Create your dashboard, tab dashboard. Then you're gonna save your dashboard as a story, and it's gonna save you a lot of work for assignment 8, right? Infographics that cannot be saved as a story. Tab dashboard can be saved as a story. That's a reason for using the tab dashboard. Okay, so I spelled out the differences for you, right? But remember that both dashboards are interactive. You may choose the templates. There are multiple layout templates. You may choose how things appear. You may toggle between view mode and edit mode, right? And you may preview the data that is being visualized. You may add, well, you don't quite copy and paste the image. You add a link to where the image is on the web, okay? Then you can add the link to videos and the links to websites, etc., different shapes. And I believe you were asked in the assignment to add some of those widgets, all right? Okay, so I also explained what a freeform is. See this, so you have, this is a freeform, but those are the split in the panels here, right? Okay, well, you'll need to look at the in the classroom. Well, if you look at the classroom, sometimes after a while you get more announcements. So I believe there is a link that says see all, right? There is a link that says see all, and then you will need to do. Another thing is that, guys, if you look in the classroom, there is a way to set up the notifications. Everyone has way in the classroom. Well, if you have time, I'll show you. There is a way to set up notifications, so when the course announcement is posted, you can get the copy of that announcement by email or the text message, okay? So just please pay attention to announcements. This is very important, okay? And also, if you saw something missing, if you see no slides, let the instructor know, and they will tell you where the slides are, or they will, they'll help you. Anyway, so this is a free form, right? But this one is predefined layout. I like to use predefined because it will automatically resize the visualizations for me based on the screen size. Another thing to keep in mind is that the more stuff you put on a page, the longer the page could take to load. Learn the hard way, okay? If you're doing a presentation, if the internet connection is not fast, when you have a lot of stuff on the same page, it's gonna take longer to load. So I chose, and I don't like things to be cluttered, so I like to do 2x2. That's my favorite. And I'm gonna stick with it, okay? Okay, well, we'll need to look into that later, the announcements, okay? Anyway, so this is 2x2. I'm gonna select, but I have absolutely no problem with sending you the slides from last time. Okay, so I selected this one, and then what do I need to do? I need to click on create, right? That's gonna create a new dashboard. By default is one tab, but of course we're gonna be adding more tabs. But let's see what happens. It gave a default name new dashboard. Asterisk means I have not saved. So the first thing, let's save this. I'm gonna click on save, and then I'm gonna put something like claims and weather dashboard, right? Okay, I saved that. Now, why do you think my save button is grayed out? Because I cannot save to the team content. I can only save to my content, right? And I'm gonna go here and I'm go save. Take cancel. I'm gonna go cancel because I already have the same dashboard. So let's rename it insurance dashboard. I'm gonna rename it, okay? Insurance dashboard. I don't want to override because I just realized that I created an example for you that I don't want to override. So let's do this. Let's do insurance dashboard, and I'm gonna click on save, okay? There we go. Saved. So this is a dashboard. Now, what is here? This is a little bit similar to data exploration. If I click here, this is a data source, right? This is a data module that I'm using to build these dashboards. I expand here. Those are, I see this is a data group that I created in the last session, right? See this? All of this, I see all of these columns, and icon type shows the column data type, right? So this is our total claim amount column. Remember that I changed the property to summarize, to show the average, right? And if I look at the properties here, see this? It says average. So whenever I try to summarize this column, I'm going to be getting the average because I made change in the data module. I don't need to make this change again, right? And also, what is this? This is a filter, right? Remember, I created the reusable filter that allows me to look at the personal claims for the small cars, right? If I did not name this filter, if I did not put descriptive names, there is no way in the world to say what this is defined, right? No way. I would have to go back to my data module to see what in the world I defined this, see? So that's why I use a descriptive name. So now, so we see the data. What else do we see here? This is the layout is 2 by 2, so it means I can have, I put 4 visualizations, right? One in each panel. This is the top. What is this? Here is the filters area. You can apply the filter to all tabs, or you can apply the filter to one tab, and I'll show you that later. But first, we're just looking at what is here. One tab, and I can add another tab, right? When I add another tab, I can select the template. I don't have to follow, I don't have to keep the same template, but for some reason, I just like 2 by 2. I'm gonna click create, okay? 2 tabs, but I mentioned that you can change properties, right? So I close the filters just to make it better, and I go to properties. The properties that are available for me depends on what I currently have selected. In this case, I'm just, I didn't select any visualizations. I'm just looking at the canvas, right? So this is just the positioning. Those are the canvas properties. If you want to show the grid, yes, I want to keep the grid. Then you can also change how your tabs look like. Tab positioning, I'm going to keep it at the top, but you know that you can change the tab positioning. You can change the tab icon positioning. I'm going to change the title color. So see this, the tab title is going to show the red color. Then I want to underline the selected tab in green. I'm not making a traffic light here, but I'm just trying to show you that the properties that you can change. See, you can change the properties for all tabs like I'm doing here, and you can also change the properties for individual tab. But for the fill color, I'm just gonna pick something that makes it look different, right? Well, it's too dark. If it's too dark, you probably won't be, it's not gonna be readable well, right? Now, you can also change each tab individually. Like for example, if suppose that on my first tab I want to put an icon, something like that. See, so I can just change. I can change one tab at a time. I can have the first tab in a different color, something like that. So I'll let you play with this. Explore the properties. When you submit your dashboard, do not submit just with default colors and default layouts. Try to play around, see what you can do more. Changing the text, changing the colors, etc. If you want to get if you want to get the full benefit from the assignment, not just getting the ticket punch, you know what I'm saying? If you want to learn more, you need to schedule some time to play around with the software, okay? So this is just the properties of the tabs. And of course you can rename it. So if you click here, you can edit the tab title here. See, you can just you can type just my tab 1, something like that. So you can change the title. This is the tab title. You can change it, and you can also duplicate the tab, and you can change the template if you want, right? I stick with 2 by 2, but if for some reason you change your mind, you can change different template. Okay. So now you might be saying, okay, well, how do I add visualizations? There are multiple ways to add visualization. One way, of course, is to go through your pins. Remember, pins are visualization set aside. So I have this set aside. I can just drag and drop. See this? I try to put the mouse cursor over the blue arrow. then this visualization size is going to be the size of the panel. See? There we go, right? Or I can also create a brand new visualization from scratch. I'll just do it on this tab here. Oops, I close this, close properties for now. So suppose that I want to add a pie chart. How do I do this? I'm going to go to the visualizations and I'm going to find the pie chart. Well, I wish I could search here. I cannot, so I just have to scroll. Here it is, the pie chart. Now what? Now I need to add fields that I'm visualizing, right? And here are the fields. Note that if you have this asterisk, it means that you must specify the field. Otherwise, you cannot see the visualization. Now I have options. I can drag and drop the fields from here, right? Or I can just click and select the fields. But I need to have the specific purpose, what I'm trying to achieve. I'm not just trying to click, 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 right? In this case, I want to use the software to show the percentage of customers in each state. That's what I'm trying to do, right? So, of course, my segment has to be the state, right? That's the state. The size has to be something like the number of customers. So I'm going to do customers. And how do I know? If I go here, if I look at the summarize, what is it doing? It's doing count distinct. See this? So it means that it's going to show the percentage of customers in each state. Remember that a customer may have multiple claims, right? So somehow, see, we need to decide. If we do count, it's going to be the percentage of claims. If we keep count distinct, it's the percentage of customers. So that's what it's doing. So you have to have specific purpose. You don't just randomly click, 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 click. And then if you say it's not working, then we're going to ask what you're trying to achieve, right? What are you trying to visualize? Then we're going to see, okay, maybe that's not the right visualization to use, something like that. Okay? So first you have to have a purpose in mind. Yes, we're going to show the percentage number. Exactly. This is what I was going to just show you now. So this is a visualization, right? Yes, exactly. We're going to look at how to do it. We're going to change the properties. So this is customer by state. I click here. Okay, the purpose of the pie chart is to show the percentages, right? Not just the numbers. So we're gonna fix it. How do we fix it? We're gonna look at the visualization properties, right? We could not change it in our exploration, but we can change it here. So we're gonna go to the chart, the properties of the chart, and there is a property called display percentage. We're gonna check this in, right? And in addition to that, I just want to make it look like a donut, right? I want to get a little bit fancy, right? No guarantee, but I want to aim for higher grade. I don't want to keep the defaults. And I want to get more benefit from the assignment. I want to learn more, right? So I'm just going to do this. I change this radius. What else you can send? You can send, you can change the title, right? Like if I want to change the title, I can do it like this. I can double click here and I can type customer percentage by state, right? I want to do customer percentage by state. Oh, and then see this, you have the text properties here. You can change, you can make it centered, you can make it bold, and you can change the font size. See that? You can also change the color. Right, I'll let you play with it, but I'm just showing you what's available. You'll have to play with it. Is it? You can change the title, you can change the color. There are a lot of stuff that you can change here. And back to visualization itself, Jesus, there is a lot of formatting here. You can change where the legend appears, because for this somehow here legend is the first thing that I see, right? Sometimes you want to show it on the left or on the right. So you have a lot of options. So that's just the color. You can change the colors if you want. You can look at the See the legend, right? You can change the position where it appears. Like, for example, I want it on the left. See, I can change. Oh, and then here, the shape, right? I can choose the star, right? And if I don't like it, I can always undo the change. Okay, and I can save it. I should have saved it. I forgot to save it. See? How do I change the colors of the stage? Well, you would have to go to this in here. You can change the color palette here. Okay, you can change the palette. Like, for example, I like magenta. I can change it to magenta. See that? So you can play with this. It's possible to change the color palette. Customer percentage by the state. Oh, and see here, if you click here, it shows you what data is being visualized. But it's going to show you the actual numbers, not percentages. See that? This shows what data is visualized, okay? Yes, it will change the color. Oh, the color of a single slice. That's a good question. That's a good question. Not sure. Need to look into it. I need to look into it. It won't let me change the color of a single slice. I have to change the whole color scheme in this case. Won't let me. I've tried it. But that would be interesting if we could. Okay. If you figure out, let me know. Okay. Oh, how visualization to use? Well, it depends on it depends on what you're trying to see. You try see usually pie chart show percentage, you show the percentage of a whole, right? But if you're not sure, you can also use assistant to kind of type the question what you want to do, and it's going to give you suggested visualizations. You can do that too. Okay, you can go to assistant. Remember that, guys, that's another way to add visualizations. It's from the assistant. See this? You go to this guy here, and you can see, like, for example, let's do something like suggested questions, right? Just questions. Okay, like, for example, here, which coverage has a top claim amount? So, like, see, like, I want to see something like a coverage, a top claim amount. Oops, it did not quite answer the question. But see, that sometimes if you click through questions, oh shit, take a look at this. I just selected the question, compare total claim amount, employment status, but education. See, it gave me the visualization. Sometimes this assistant is going to help. So you just drag and drop this visualization to your dashboard, right? You can use assistant. There are multiple ways to do it, okay? Okay, can you please use filter? I tried. Which filter? Well, you can use filter if you like. If you want to filter visualization, you can filter in AI. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean because you cannot filter it. I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. Because how would you filter in AI? You would need to, I'm not sure if you can apply filters here. You have to apply filters to visualization that is on your exploration or on your dashboard. We don't apply filters to AI, okay? So I need to see those instructions where it says, because you're applying the filter to visualization, you're not applying the filter to AI, okay? So here it is. So that's another way to add visualization. I just went to assistant and I picked it. Then of course you can also click here and you can change the fields that are being visualized, right? You can change the fields and you can add more. You just, right? Start to draw the scatter plot. Oh, I would have to look at that specific. I would need to look at what you're doing at your specific set, okay? Because you cannot filter data. You cannot filter in AI assistant directly. You cannot. You have to add visualization and filter on visualization in exploration. Okay? Okay? You cannot filter straight on the AI. I hope it makes sense. Okay? You apply the filter to visualization that is added to your dashboard or to your exploration. We cannot apply the filter in the AI directly. Okay? Just know that one. Okay, we had a lot of excellent questions, a lot of questions. Okay, so, and this is a single visualization in a focus mode. You can also click here to see what data is being visualized. Isn't it cool? It's nice, right? Isn't it? So, and again, the properties you have are going to depend on the visualizations that you are working with, right? And you can also add the widgets, like in here, if you go to the widgets here, text, right? Okay. Okay, but please do not share this type of this part of the recording with other data courses because they're gonna be mad at me. Okay, I just put my favorite text. I love data 605, but please do not tell other data courses because they're gonna get jealous, okay? So this is a text you just put and you type the text. And again, you can change properties of the text. See, I selected text. See, this is a toolbar. You can change it here. You can change it on the toolbar, or you can also go to properties window and change the text properties here. See, so this is just the text, right? Or also, if you, okay, I will show you. I have a separate file for the filters demo that I can show you. How to properly use a calculation? Well, calculation is nothing but another column, right? And you can use calculation in visualizations. Like last time I showed you, we created the calculation for the annual insurance premium, right? It can be used in visualizations as well. Why not? Oh, well, I have to look at the assignment because, see, the thing is you cannot apply the filter in AI, okay? You have to, you apply the filter straight to visualization. I think there is a little miscommunication of the assignment. I will have to look at it, okay? I will need to look at it. I look at the assignment and, you see what I'm saying? Because, well, the thing is, you cannot apply the filter to an AI. You have to apply the filter in the visualizations that you actually add, okay? AI cannot be filtered. So just know that. I'll have to look up closely to instructions. I think there is a misunderstanding here. But anyway, so and you keep going, right? You add visualizations based on your data. And well, the way I would start it is I would probably look at the spiral model. I would probably look at what are my key drivers of what I'm trying to predict. Like, for example, in my case, I know that location code is a key driver, right? So I would probably want to have some visualization that shows the relationship between location code and the total claim amount, something like that, right? So I would probably want to do visualizations for my key drivers as a starter. I would probably want to look at the percentage of the customers, right? Probably want to check the percentage of customers by location as well, because, well, we know that location is one of the key drivers, right? So let's see, for example, where are most of my claims are, right? I could probably look at something like, well, we know that vehicle class is another driver. I would probably look at some visualizations that show location code, vehicle class, and average bill claim amount. Well, personally, I like to look at the crosstabs, but it's also personal preference of what you prefer. Okay. So I mean here, it's part of it. It's also you yourself. I mean it's your presentation style as well. So like, for example, if I choose magenta color, somebody may want to choose a green color. Whatever works for you, works for you. Whatever works for me, works for me. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I'm gonna show you example of filters right now. So we're gonna close this out, and I have specific filters example. This is a dashboard filters example. So, and I'll put it in the edit mode. So here, on the first tab, I have the state code, and I have the average total claim amount per state code on the first chart, right? Here, I have a cross tab. I have a state code, and I have a location. And I'm showing the average total claim amount. So here I have to look at the intersection of the column and the row, right? So for example, if state is Iowa and location is and if it's a rural location, this is the average total claim amount, okay? So this is the visualizations on the first tab. And notice that both of them have state code, right? Now I'm gonna go to the next tab, and this one, see, that's another visualization. And I have my states here, state code. This is a hierarchy. We're showing the percentage of customers by the state. And then I have another one where it shows the total claim amount by the employment status. And I use the different color code for each state, right? To see this, I have two visualizations on one tab, and I have two visualizations on the other. So I'm gonna go to my data here, data, claims and weather, and I'm gonna select the state code, right? Let's select the state code, and I'm gonna drag it here, and I want to select Iowa and Missouri. Done. What happens now? Both visualizations are filtered to show only Iowa and Missouri. See that? On the first tab. When I go to the second tab, my visualizations are filtered as well. Why is that? Because I added the filter to apply to both tabs, okay? I added the filter to apply to both tabs. When I switch tab, I see the filter, right? There we go. So now what I'll do, I'm gonna delete this filter. And instead, I'm also add the filter on the state code, okay? But instead, I'm going to select the Oklahoma and Nebraska, and also Missouri, those three, and I'm gonna click on done. So on this tab, my visualizations are filtered. But when I go to the tab 2, the visualizations are not filtered. Why is that? It's because I defined the filter only in the first tab. I didn't define the filter on both tabs, okay? So I go back and I can remove my filter here, delete, okay, undone. Another thing that I mentioned earlier is that I can select one data point and the same data point will be selected in other visualizations. Like for example, see here, I selected the Missouri state and the same state. See this, I selected Missouri and this visualization got filtered to Missouri. So basically on a dashboard, I can select one data point in one visualization and the same data point will be selected in other visualizations that use the same data as a source, okay? You can have more, you can have more than one data source in a single dashboard. In this case, I just stick with one, right? These two visualizations use the same data as a source. So whenever I select one data point here, I selected one state here, and my this visualization got filtered by this state. See this? So data is connected. See this? That's what it means here. So that's a filter. You can remember that you can apply the filters to all tab. You can filter single tab, or you can filter individual visualization, or you can filter the data altogether, right? Remember last time I showed you how to create the embedded filters in data module and selectable filters, right? But this is different. Here we're applying we're just highlighting the point in the visualization, right? And also you can select visualization and see the actual data that's been visualized. You can click here to see it, or you can also click here, show data, okay? All right. I created a video. There are several videos on the dashboard. There is one that shows you how to edit text and the images. So please make sure to watch that. Okay. So now let's close this out. So now I pretended that I'm doing your assignment. I pretended that I'm doing your assignment, and I created this dashboard here, right? It has 4 tabs. The first tab has just the text box and the picture. It's an image. So I specified the image URL on the web, right? So if I have to go to the edit mode. If I go to the properties of this image, right? Properties, you're gonna see it. This is the actual image on the web. For your assignment, you can just use the Google Images search and just get the image link. If you right click on the image, you can get the image link. It's different in each browser. All right. So I got the image link and I paste it here, and it will show on your dashboard. You don't paste the picture itself. You put the image link on the web. Okay. Then I have another tab. This was my week 6 assignment, right? Just pretend I'm taking a class and I developed the dashboard for the total claim amount, right? So here I just put the predictive analytics, all of those drivers that I did, right? And I numbered the tabs intentionally. I'll show you why. So this is just averages, and I went a little bit fancy. See this, I put the overall average, and I just went to do average by the location code, and I went even more, and I put a cross tab average by the vehicle type. Then I went even more. Well, I think I owe to show you this one. This one, if you look at the proper, if you look, first of all, if you look at the fields, this is a crosstab visualization. I want my columns to be the vehicle class. I want my rows to be the location code and coverage. So I want to show by location code, right? See this is a location, rural, suburban, urban, and then each location I want to break down further into coverage type. So this is this visualization. Okay, and then for the values, I want to show average total claim amount, but then I really went and played with the properties of this visualization. You have the summary row, right? In this case, this is a summary, shows for the row, so I see the summary for the basic coverage within the rural location. I see the summary for extended coverage within rural location, etc. Right? I want the cover. I want this to show. I want the summaries to show in this color. Then I decided, okay, I want to use the conditional colors. I want to do conditional color on the total claim amount. And you just need to add rules. And I believe there is a video on how to do something like this. So I added the rule and I said, okay, if it's less than 100, if the value is less than 100, I want to show it in a green and a down arrow, right? So that's what I did. But when you selected the rules, when you start creating a rule, you want to make sure that you select the scale to be numeric here, right? And I'm just doing the conditional colors here. You can pick, depending on the value, you can show it in a different color. That's what it does. That's all it does, right? That's a conditional color. It's a little bit more advanced, but if you have time, I would recommend to play around with this because you get more out of this assignment, okay? Okay, so anyways, and another tab is just showing the different customer demographics. So I have 4 tabs. Suppose that I did a great job on my assignment 7. Now it's time for assignment 8 to create a story, right? So basically, this is just a dashboard. There is no way to add the animations to the dashboard, right? To show again, okay, to show again this one. What do you want to see again? This one, right? Oh, this one. Yep, the properties. So I did the color, the summary color, and I did the conditional. Oh, the conditional color. Okay, okay, no problem. So okay, let's just add the conditional color to this one. Okay. So this one, let's add the conditional color to show you how to do it. So this is a visualization. In this case, it's a little simpler. I want to add conditional color, and the available data is the total claim amount, right? So I'm gonna click on this to go next. Now, suppose that I want to do, if it's under 150, right? I want my value to show in green. How do I do it? First of all, I'm gonna click on add a rule. Well, scale, I want to change the scale to numeric, right? I'm gonna click on add a rule here, and I'm gonna say this. If the value is less than, and then I type whatever my value I want to be. I want to put 150, right? If the value is less than 150, then I want to show the green color, and I want the indicator to be error down, right? And I want to keep it green, right? So this is one rule. Now I want to add another rule, and I'm gonna say this: if the value is greater than, and I'm gonna put 1000, right? Then if it's greater than 1000, then I want to make a color to be, let's just pick this color, right? A fill color, I can choose a fill color if I want, right? Or then here, this is an indicator. I can select any indicator, okay? Oh, and it also, oh, see this, an indicator, it's gonna be error up, okay? Oh, I see. It shows now, I had to slide a little bit. So see that? This is a conditional color. You just specify, and I selected the values, right? And then I look at, if the value is greater than, I show this. If the value is less than, I show that. Okay? So now I'm going to save this. Okay. I've got 4 tabs, but the thing is there is no animation here. There's no way to show transitions, right? Which we're gonna get to next. Next topic is gonna be the stories, right? Oh, here are the slides. There's a lot of stuff here. Well, I showed you how to save the dashboard. See, sometimes I don't necessarily go in order because it depends on how presentation goes, right? I showed you how to use pins, right? But please don't show this slide to other data courses. They're gonna be upset. Okay, this is just to add an image, right? Okay, and I showed you the filters. This is a story. Story is a narrative. You can just create a brand new story from scratch, but this is not what I want to do. I want to do a great job in assignment 7, and then I want to do this. I want to convert my dashboard as a story. In a very simple way. I go here. See this save as a story? This is one reason we are using the tab instead of infographics, because I want to take this, right? And I want to save it as a story. This will save all my work. I will be able to use a lot of work that I did for assignment 7 to do assignment 8. So see this, I'm gonna select the slideshow for right now. There is a difference. The difference is whether it's using the same canvas or not. But let's stick with slideshow right now. And I'm gonna click on the select. What's now? We have to save the story, right? By default, it's just gonna take the name of the dashboard and it's gonna prefix the word story. I have to save it where? Into my content. Thankfully, it's selected by default. If it was not, then you would see the grayed out save button. Okay, my content, and you're gonna click on save. What's gonna happen right now? Do you remember that I had the tab numbered, right? So now every tab in my story becomes a scene, and every tab in my dashboard becomes a scene in my story, right? So this is the story. There are some similarities. There is an edit mode and view mode. Edit mode, it means that I'm editing, it's editable, right? How do you know if it's an edit mode or not? Well, see this is a view mode. See, this one is turned off, edit mode, okay? Similarly, there are some similarities here. You can apply filters to a single scene or to all scenes, right? You can click here to see the data source. Remember this, the data source, and it has the data groups, and all of the calculations that you define in data module would appear here. Again, this is a selectable filter. If I did not use the descriptive name, there is no way to tell what that is without going back to data module, right? Okay. So you can also add visualizations. You can reuse the pins. See this? I showed you I had 2 pins earlier. I still have those 2 pins, right? Because it's a visualization set aside. I just use when I need to. I don't need to redo the visualization. I just use it. See? And it's the same data source, right? The same data source here. You can create brand new visualizations. You can add widgets, okay? And you're not limited to the 4 scenes here. You can add a new scene, and if you do that, you would need to also specify the scene layout. Like, see, if I click here, add a new scene, right? Scene 5, and you would have to add objects to the scene. I don't like what I did. I can undo. See, undo, redo, this is similar, right? Filters work similarly, but what is different is that each scene has a timeline. So the way it is right now, if I go here, and if I just play all of these scenes, right? Nothing is happening, nothing, right? When I play this scene, I just play it and I see all of the visualizations because I didn't define any animations, right? See this? I've got 4 visualizations. I can change when things appear, disappear. Maybe it's better to show this in a full screen. Let's see. Oops. Okay, let's go to full screen. Let's see if it shows better, because I want you to see 4 visualizations as I edit the timeline properties. Okay, so let's go to this thing here. So here I see the overall average, right? Then I see the average for the location code. I see average for the vehicle type and location code, and then another one, right? I have 4 visualizations. By default, the duration of the scene, when I play it, it's gonna show each scene for 5 seconds by default, but we can change it. So let's open the timeline. Each of these visualizations is represented as a bar in this timeline, as an object in a timeline. Oh, visualizations to fit on the screen? Well, I selected the full screen here. This is what I did. At the very top, there is a toolbar. Oh, now it's gonna exit the full screen. There is a toolbar at the top, and the toolbar has an option, the full screen. Okay. The toolbar for that virtual machine, right? There is a full screen option, and that's what I'm doing. But you might have to play around with Zoom, but oops, now I lost the full screen. So I go to see the full screen. Here we go, and a full screen. Well, I like that because when I show you, it's easier, it's better, it's easier for you to see and a little bit better in the recording, okay? So now, each of these, there are 4 objects on this thing here, right? Each of these is represented as a little bar here. This is a starting time when this appears, and the ending edge shows the ending time. So for example, all of them show for 5 seconds, right? But I can change the duration of this thing just by I can just drag this here, right, to change the duration, right? I can just drag this. Now it's gonna show longer. I also have the properties here. If I go to the properties, I can change. So see here, this is the first one here. Oh, it's the second one. Let's go up to the first one. Let's suppose that when I start, I want to see this visualization only. And I don't want to see other visualizations, right? I will have to specify explicitly when I want to see the visualization. So like suppose that the second visualization, I want to see it after 2 seconds. So I just drag and drop this edge here, see? I can do it like that. Or I could also select this, right? And then I can go to the animation properties and I can see here, I want this to start at 2 seconds. And this is actual animation. When it starts, what do I want to do? I want it to slide in, see? Slide in. It just briefly showed you what happens when you slide in. And it's sliding from the left, see? You can do it sliding from the top, for example, see? Or you can do sliding from the bottom. This is the animation. So I can select when I want to see something, right? And then when I want to stop seeing something. So like for instance, the first one, right? I selected the first one. If I want to stop seeing it after 4 seconds, I can do this. Then I go to animation. Starting is at 0, but then when I click on exit, see this? Exit at, for example, I can say exit at 4 seconds. How do I want to exit it, right? I want to do the scale out, just an example, see? You can scale out, you can slide out. So see, basically you specify here for how long you can see each object in a scene and how the animation, if it's a slide out or if it's a scale out or if it's a expand out. See this, you have multiple options. See? So you can specify this. This is one of the properties. So if you did a good job, in your assignment 7, you just save it, you just save it, the dashboard as a story, and you add this animation stuff, and you'll be almost done, pretty much. So please do yourself a favor, do a good job in assignment 7, right? So when your dashboard is ready, save it as a story. Because see, like if you make any changes to the dashboard after you saved it as a story, the changes will not be made to the story. So just remember that, do it when you're totally ready. Okay? So that one, but also if you look at overall, see, this is what's gonna happen. If I go, if I want to do, there is a properties here, I want to preview first. Let's close this timeline. In the properties here, you can say play all scenes, right? So if I go to the view mode, and I'm gonna play all scenes right now, right? Let's play, let's see what happens. This is the first one. It's gonna be 5 seconds. It should switch to the next one. It's using the same canvas. See this? Oh, see this? I specify when I want it to show, when I want it to exit. And this is the last one, right? Okay, this is what I did. So that was a slideshow, but there is also another option is a guided journey. So let me go here and change the properties of this story. And I want to select the guided journey here. And I like this layout because it's possible to see all these things. See, this is what I like. If I select this guy here, oh, that's nice. I can see all of my scenes and I can take the screenshot just to show the instructor, hey, look, I got my story working. I have 4 scenes, right? So see, this is different. When you select the guided journey, it's gonna look like this. And let's do the preview. Let's do the preview and you'll see the difference. So if I go to play, see how it's different? That's a difference. It's not like a PowerPoint presentation. It's rather, and see, you still have this animation. That's a difference. Just remember that. All right. So that's a difference. And I'm going to let you play with these properties. And again, you know, if you stay in with defaults, you're just getting the ticket punched. But if you're playing around with the properties, you're taking more advantage of this assignment. You're exploring what Cognos Analytics can do because, well, even if it's not Cognos, dashboards are popular today, okay? So what you learn here, you can apply to any other applications that you're gonna use in your work. Dashboards are popular. Storytelling, this is used a lot today. Telling the story about data, things like that, okay? So let me go back to, going back to the slides. And I created a video on how to modify the timelines. So you should have that, right? And I put the difference here between a slideshow and guided journey. Which one you use? It depends on your choice. It's going to be your presentation. It's not going to be Yelena's presentation, right? Well, this is just showing you the interface a little bit. And then this is just showing you the timeline. There is a video, okay? So you have, this is how to save the story, have save the dashboard as a story. And also, this just shows you that each tab on the dashboard will be seen in a story, okay? I just put this together. I used to have 5 scenes, okay, well. Okay, this is a link to the videos. And now I'm gonna show you something advanced. It's not in the slides, okay, but it's an advanced topic. So let's close this out. We were looking at the dashboard, right? It's possible to have something that's called nested dashboards. So I called it top dashboard example. It's possible to have another dashboard within the dashboard. Oops. Here it is. I looked at it. It's a top dashboard example. Take a look at this. Oops. What did I do? Am I still sharing? Hmm? Am I still sharing my screen? Yes, okay. Yes, good, sorry. Okay, now, okay, so what this is, it's another dashboard, right? Let me go to edit mode. Come on. Okay, now working. So this is a dashboard with a single tab, right? Average total claim amount. And this dashboard, I chose the 2 panels here. On this panel, I see the decision tree. And on this panel, I see, this is what I used here. If you go to the widgets, I used advanced widget, and this is a tab. So that puts the tab dashboard inside another tab dashboard. This is what I did. And in this dashboard, I have 3 tabs. See this? So for example, suppose that I want to look at my decision tree, but at the same time, I want to see all of these numbers, right? But I don't want to clutter my dashboard. So what I did was I put nested dashboard in here, and see this on the first tab, I showed the average by location code, and the next tab, I showed the average by vehicle class, and another tab, I show the average by marital status, right? So let's close this. So I just created this nested, and then what I could do is I could select, like for example, if I want to look at the suburban, see this, I selected this, and I see the corresponding part of the tree. If I select this row, see this, now I see the part of the tree only for the suburban location. See that? And then I can keep, see this? It just helps me, it just helps me out. See this is the average total claim amount for suburban location, see? And I just keep traversing. So that shows the relevant part of the tree. Or I can just do select the urban. See that? It's just convenient way, it's just convenient. I can select and I can see part of the data, the rules that apply to the part of the data. See this? It just filter to urban, etc. Then I could go, I can unfilter this, unfilter, and I can go to the vehicle class, right? This is just one example when you would use it. And let's say, like I want to do the sports car, and it's only gonna show me, it shows part of the tree that applies to whatever I selected. See this, that's a sports car, it appears only in this part of the tree. Or if I do luxury SUV, right, it's gonna show me the part of the tree where luxury SUV is. Oh, it's here. See, I have to select the whole row. So now it's rebuilding the part of the tree. Oh, a reliable predicted model cannot be created. See, so if I want to show only for luxury, well, it cannot. Well, it's okay. I can try two-door car. Let's try two-door car. See, so it's going to show me part of the visualizations for the two-door car. That's what it's doing. If I select this whole row, oops, all right, it's just gonna show me that part of the tree. That's what I'm basically doing here. I do not want to clutter the whole dashboard, so I can just select. See, I select one data, I select the data point, and the same data point is selected in my other visualization. So anyway, just know there could be numerous reasons why you want to do that, but it's possible to have a nested dashboard. Okay, and it's connected. If I select the data point on the nested dashboard, it's going to select the same data point on the outer dashboard. If I add the filter here, it will apply both filters to the outer dashboard and to the nested. You might be wondering how many layers can I have? Well, I don't know the answer to this question. But again, the more you have, the longer it could take to load, okay? Well, nested dashboard was a little bit advanced example. If it's something that you want to go for it, go for it. But again, I mean, sometimes in some situations, less means more. So you want to stay focused on a topic. You have a topic for the data, like for example, predicting the car efficiency on a highway, right? So you want to look at the drivers, you want to look at the visualizations for those drivers. What actually determines the car efficiency? Well, things like that. See, for me, my first step is looking at the drivers, but everybody analyzes data differently, okay? So, yeah. Well, you pick the data set, right? You check there are several. You want to stay with the same data set for the last 3 assignments. I hope that makes sense, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna take questions. Questions for me? Questions? Mission values. Okay, in assignment unit 4, we had to. Oh, okay. Well, for mission values, there are more than one. Okay, so if you select the data, if you have a data that has mission values, you need to keep in mind that mission values may have an impact on your visualizations, right? For the categorical column, well, I think I created a video on this. For categorical column, you can just see if it has missing values, because when you go to the data module, well, let's just do it. Let's just close this out. So if I go to claims and weather data, and let's do this, create new data module, and I'm gonna call it data module with missing values. Let's say data. Right? So I just do that, and I'm gonna click here, my content, I'm gonna save it. Oh, cancel. Okay, save it. Okay, so I have data module with mission values, right? This is the initial one, right? Oh wait. Yes, this is the initial one. So I know that so see this, like for example, response column. How do I know that it has mission values? If it's just a categorical, I click on it, right? And if I go click on it, show in select filter, it's gonna show me that the values are null, yes, no, or null. See, it means that my column has mission values. One approach to handle these mission values is to code them as other. So then you would use, there is a video where I showed you how to, I believe it was a claim. There is a column called claim reason. And in the video, I showed you how to treat the missing value as other. See that, so you have claim reason, so that if I expand here, I can see the values that this column has, because the values are the text values, right? Collision, hail, other. So one option is to treat this value as other, right? So claim reason is going to be other, okay? For numeric, it's not as simple, but you would have to play around. You would want to probably temporarily, you could add a temporary filter where you could say something like this. Oops. I don't like to do this. I like to use the expression editor, okay? So right click and then select the filter, but see, I don't like this. I don't like to select the range. I like to use expression editor. So the way I could do is I could just go here, right? And I can do manage filter, and temporary, I can do this. My expression editor. Okay. Now I can do, I can just say this. Let's say, let's call it in test mission, right? Let's just do test mission. So, for example, I have something like income, right? And let's say income is missing, right? Something like missing, right? Then we're gonna go, we have to check, we're gonna have to check the syntax, right? The expression is valid. So now what I'm trying to say is that let's show all rows that missing a value for the income. I click OK. So I know that I have 3 rows that are missing an income value, right? I will delete that filter, but first I wanted to see if I have anybody with missing the income value, and I see them now, right? So how can you handle it? Oh well, you can ignore you're gonna see, okay, is income one of the, I would check if income is one of the drivers, right? If it's not, then well, one way is just to uh, well, there are only three rows, right? If I could write the program, if I could do it programmatically, the first thing what I would do is I would probably check, uh, see this is a person, right? Some people have more than one claims. I would probably look up that person to see if that person has another claim. And if the person has another claim and the income in there is specified, I would probably borrow that value and fill it with that value. That's one way. See, you have to think out of the box here. See, yes, you can set it to the average income, but then the problem is, I showed you how to do it last time, right? I did it. But then the problem is it's gonna skew your data because uh, how do we know that? See, a lot of records in here for unemployed data. But if I set it to average, then what? Working person could become unemployed? Well, I would probably want to look at more. It's not possible to do it here, but you can write it out on paper. You can explain that. First of all, you probably want to look at people, you want to look at if the person is employed, right? Or if the person is, if somebody is unemployed, then you can just put income to zero, right? If somebody is employed, well, there are other things to look at. You probably want to look at the person's education, etc. But first things first, I would have looked at if the person has another claim. That's an easier way to do it in this data. But if I have another claim, and if the income is specified in that claim, I could probably reuse it. But then it comes more interesting. What if I had two more claims and each claim has a different income? I would probably want to take the latest one. See, you have to be creative here. See? Well, there is no specific logic to borrow. Okay? Well, there is no, uh, you cannot write it here, but you have to be creative. You need to pretend that you were writing it. Just pretend that you were writing a code, what you would have done. So here you're not actually doing it because, well, of course, each software has a limitation, but you need to think a little bit out of the box. But right now, I'm being Yelena, and I'm talking about this specific data. With this specific data, I know that a person has more than one claim, right? So I would have looked up if the person submitted other claims and if the income is populated there, and I would reuse that data. That's me. If you set it to the column average, nobody says that you cannot do it, but then the data will be skewed. It skews the data. I showed you how to do it. I just pretended, okay, let's suppose that you want to do it. This is how you would do it, but it's not actually what you would do it for the data analytics class. You see what I'm saying? Uh, what do you mean that changes the data set to borrow? See, the thing is, uh, well, it depends on the assignment and depends on what you're trying to do in the assignment. See, this one, if you look at the same data set and 100 people write paper on the same data set, all papers are going to be different unless people plagiarized. So it's like, it's also part of being yourself. When you write a paper, it's your paper, you're being yourself. You're not being Yelena, you're not being your classmate. It's your insight. So like if I present this data, my presentation is going to be different than if your classmate picks up this data. We're going to have different insights on it. Maybe you'll be predicting something else. You could be predicting customers' income as well, right? It could be, there are multiple things that you can do. So there is no right or wrong answer, but the thing is, it's like about how you present the flow of your paper. It's about, you have to define the goal and you use the software to uh, achieve that goal. And also, each software has a limitations. Now you may want to say that if I was writing a code, if I was doing a program in a Python code or R code or Java code, I would have done this and this. So you want to be a little bit more out of the box thinking. See, there is no prescription, there's no formula that applies to all data. If you aim for a higher grade, no guarantee, but if you are like me, right? If you're an I was an A student, but I went a little bit beyond and I tried to look at things outside the box. It's like it's not just like okay, here is what example that the teacher did, let's just go and plug it in. No, there is no formula to which you can plug it in. You just need to use out of the box thinking on this. And it just the way, well, it's your thinking, it's your personality. You see what I mean? Oh yeah, no, you cannot change the data, you cannot edit the data itself, but you can add calculations to the data. That's right. You can add calculations and you can do what I showed in the video where I set the mission value to other, right? Oh, and take a look at this. If it's mission income, it's also mission education. See, this is only 3 rows. So, oh, if it's only 3 rows, I could just exclude the 3 rows from analysis. That's it. You know, I could, it depends on how many rows I impacted. It depends on what rows I impacted. It depends on if it's one of the columns that I'm predicting, if it's one of the columns that's been used as a predictor. Actually, if it's one of the columns that I'm predicting, it would probably, I believe it ignores mission rows with mission values. If it's a column that you are predicting, I believe. I'll have to check that. But again, there is no prescription. What you do depends on your data and it depends on your analysis and it's part of you. It's part of who you are. See, when you write a paper like this, you need to be yourself. It's just you. It's your way on data. See what I'm saying? It's your ideas. If I do it one way, maybe your classmate do something differently. Again, same data, 1,000 students write paper on the same data, everybody's going to have a different paper, unless you plagiarize, you know what I'm saying? There might be some similarities, but everybody is going to have something unique in the paper that nobody else did before, so trust me, it's okay. I mean, I hope it makes sense. It will make sense as we start more, it will make sense. So because I mean the secret, I was a student, the secret to get an A on a paper is to be yourself when you write a paper. As you start doing it, you will see what I mean by being yourself. You're not, it's just like your way. It's based on your past experiences, based on your perception. You know what I'm saying? I hope it helped. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Can you please tell us? Change the properties? Oh, to change the total of that one, it tells you how the data is being summarized. So if I'm looking at something by the state, right? If I have like a total claim amount, for example, I don't want to look the sum. If I'm looking at the data by the state, I want to see average total claim by the state. I don't want to see the sum of all total claims in the state, right? I don't want to see the total here. I want to look at the average. You can change it in the exploration or you can change it in the data module. If I change it in the data module, right, then I don't need to worry about it in the exploration. Is this total claim amount, right? I can just change it here. I can go to the properties and I can change it here. But if I don't change it here, then when I go to my exploration, I can change it there. So see, the data module is missing, right? I'm gonna close this. Okay, and now I'm going to use this data module with missing to create the data exploration. See this data module with missing, and I'm going to go to create exploration. See, this is data module with missing values, and I'm just going to go create the exploration, right? So now if I go here and, well, I want total claim amount. See this? It did something, did garbage. I don't know what it did because I did not specify what I wanted to do. See this? And there are missing values. It just a total Total mess. See? Why is it like this? Because I did not do any data preparation. Any data preparation, okay? Nothing. See, I did not do anything. Because there are missing values in data, it just totally, okay? Well, I can go ahead and I can just create a new visualization. And I want to choose type. I want to do the summary, right? And I did not do anything, right? And you saw how it's not doing what I was expecting it to do. So let me do the summary, okay? And for the summary, I want to show the total claim amount, right? What is it doing? Let me see what it's doing. I'm gonna go summarize. Oh, it's doing the auto sum. Who knows what it's doing, right? So I don't like it, see? I like to do the average, see? So basically, if you don't specify it, if you don't specify it in your oh, and the values are different. Do you know why the values are different? Because I did not filter the rows. In the other one, I filtered the rows at mission effective to date. So see, there are missing values. That's why I'm not getting what I quite expected to get, right? I did not do it. And when you try to visualize, you don't know what you're getting. See, it was doing auto sum, but I don't want to know the sum. I want to see the average total claim amount by the state or something like that, right? I don't care about the sum of all claims. So if you did not do the data pre-processing, if you did not set it up in data module, you will be setting it up individually in each visualization, or you will be setting it up in here. See, like for example, for the income, right? You can specify that you want to see you're gonna go to properties, and you can specify that you want to see see right now it's showing the total income. You want to see the average. You would have to specify it here explicitly in the properties. And you would have to do it each time when you create a new file. I hope it makes sense, right? Okay, but no worries. It's an excellent question. We have a lot of excellent questions. I would like to see more tickets with questions like this, and I can see. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. You're not able to see the y-axis in the exploration? Well, it depends on the visualization. You see the x and y, there is no, it depends on the visualization, okay? I need to look at the visualization. Oops. Oh, oh, you won't see it. You have to, because you cannot change the properties here. Exploration, you cannot change the properties, okay? You have to do you need to do the dashboard where you can play around with the properties. With exploration, your properties are limited, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? If you could create, what does it mean reference line? Yep, I need more explanation, okay? I need a specific example and explanation, okay? Okay, but the thing is, no, you cannot really play around. You really cannot, you have, your properties in the exploration are limited. You really need to go to the dashboard to play around with properties, okay? I would have to look at it, okay? I have to look at it, okay? Because, okay, sure, but please, like, write the questions in the detail and I'll look into it, okay? I believe somebody asked an excellent question. Why the relationship strengths are different, something like that. I've seen that question and I love that question. It's because national housing data has more than 10,000 records. It randomly selects 10,000. So that one I immediately could answer. Sometimes I have to research, but that one I know. Okay, so Yeah. So, any other questions? I love questions. We need to meet more often, don't we? I wish we could. Yeah, that would be good, right? Well, yeah. So, but if you believe that you don't see the slides in a announcement, right? I'm sure they're attached, but if you don't see them, you always let professor know, okay? Because I'm going to email the link to recording, and I'm going to email the slides to the teacher. Okay? Good deal? Okay. Anything else? Well, and I'm recording, and recording is going to take a little bit of time to convert, so hopefully your teacher will have it tomorrow. Okay, most welcome, guys. And I'm gonna stop the recording, and thank you very much for attending, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording.